Bada bing, bada boom. You know what it is. CEO Geek tuning in live here at the Geeks chat with my buddy Goosey to my left and a special guest. We've got Elise Reed, UFC Strawweight, 6-2. Got a big fight coming up. Elise, how are you?
I am great. How are you?
We're doing good. I mean,
Can't complain.
yeah, can't complain. Coming off a big win in her last time in the UFC octagon. Had to fight a big prospect. A lot of people had a lot of hype. She was undefeated, 7-0. She was a kickboxer stand up. You stood up, you did your thing, stood your ground, and came away with the W. Super impressive, big bounce. How are you feeling on that night? I mean, how did you just what'd you take from that experience? I mean, it was such a great win.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, we had another game plan going into that fight, and as it often happens, your game plan A, B, C, you may have to go through all of them. She had really good movement, um, and I actually got injured in the middle of that fight, second round. So we went to the wrestling and took her down in the third. So yeah, I mean, I always like to take somebody's zero. I'll take a zero any day. I'll make sure that you look at Tapology and that's one red block for me. So yeah, we're excited and ready to move on and take on another, really good opponent.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to ask you real quick. You already hinted at it, was that injury in the second round, because I just watched a bunch of your recent interviews and whatnot, and you were saying that you like tore your hip in the second round. It was confirmed after like a later MRI. So like
Yeah.
what it was pretty late to get that MRI and find that out. So like you're pretty tough in the sense that you've just been walking around with a torn hip for a while. So like how did that all come to it?
So the funny story with that is I felt the pop in the middle of the second, and I was like, that's not good. And then she was lighting up obviously my leg, which is what this next girl is gonna do, very likely. But she was lighting up my leg, and the commentators were saying that it was my knee, and it wasn't my knee, but it was my hip. But I had Army the next day, so I literally was on a flight to I want to say Missouri or the Boons. It was like old swampy area, and my leg looked like a diabetes leg. It was huge, swollen, bruised from my knee all the way to my inner thigh, and yeah, I didn't get it checked until I got back from Army 2 weeks later. So the fight was like September 10th, and I wasn't able to get it checked out till end of September.
Wow. So
Yeah.
that's actually insane. You mentioned Army, and you are actively in the military right now?
Yeah, I took command of a unit last weekend, I think. I don't know, one weekend or 2 weekends ago, but yeah, no, still Army Reserves. Just to yeah, it's like such a love-hate. It's kind of like fighting. But yeah, still there, going on 8 years in May.
That's incredible. Obviously that seems like you have two very full-time commitments. How do you balance the two and do them at the elite level?
It was something that I had, I did it as an amateur, balancing those two, and then the school as well. So I own a martial arts school as well. And so you just get used to it. I'm very fortunate that the military was very supportive. Obviously, with the business, I can kind of dictate when I go in and when I don't go in. And so when camps are happening, I pull away from the other two, and then after the camp happens, I go full on into one of them. But yeah, it can get stressful. I mean, to say that I was this last fight was training. I knew I was going to go to annual training in the swamps for 18 days or 14 days immediately following this fight, or the fight before, was pretty crazy. I was like putting tents together and packing my gear, and then also training for a fight. It was something else.
That's so crazy that you like know exactly what you're doing, and then you have this big fight and you got so many things on your mind, like still coming away with such a big, that's incredible. Honestly. I want to ask you about, what you were shouting to the commentators, because it seems to be like I heard another guy ask you about it as well. But like
Yeah.
you were shouting at DC, you weren't mad, but you were just telling him like, "Oh, look at me, I'm leveling up." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it was. I have realized really quickly that when I'm in the cage, I am so calm and I can hear everything. And so I heard them in the last fight talk about the knockdown, and that's why I pointed to them. And so I'm hearing them as I'm fighting, right? And they're like, "Oh, it's the knee." Oh, and so yeah, after I'm done, of course, I'm going to talk to them and say like, "Hey, like, what do you think about that, guys? Like, how was that? Was that all right? Is that a good one or not so much?" So I think that's going to be a common occurrence, and I apologize ahead of time to all the commentators in the UFC, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be chatting them up as soon as it's over during the fight. It's like, it's a habit of mine. It's not a good thing. I'm like saying yes, sir, to my corner as I'm hearing them. But yeah, I was just asking DC if I did well, did better. He can see the improvement. Like,
That's so sick.
it is what it is.
Yeah, you mentioned the importance of staying calm. You're actually hearing the commentators. Last year, you fought twice in front of fans, electric cards, the UFC London, and the Diaz was supposed to be Chimaev, ended up Ferguson in front of fans. How was that experience?
I love it. I'll go anywhere, and I would rather be in front of fans than not. So like, whether going to the Apex where, it's very convenient, but it's in front of like 20 people, or traveling 32 hours to go to Australia, I'll take Australia. Like, I'll take the travel, I'll take the jet lag. There's something about it in terms, like, that's the epitome of the sport. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times they're not necessarily cheering for me, but that's okay. I turn them around by the end of the fight. But yeah, no, I love the fans. It motivates me for sure.
Gotcha. And is there
Definitely.
anything different about, being on like these like big cards? Like, is like, I feel like there's like a different energy, like the one you're coming up on, Volkanovski Islam. Like, this is like a huge fight for both these guys' legacy. Obviously Islam going for that #1 spot and Volk to be a double champ. Like, I mean, this is like an incredible fight that everyone's just been waiting for. They've been building it up. And then the same thing with the Diaz fight. Obviously that one got that jumbled, but that kind of hyped it up even more. So is there a different kind of energy than fighting on these like maybe smaller cards, or is it like the same thing to you?
Uh, I know it's not the same. It definitely isn't the same. I mean, I think I'm still kind of fangirling a little bit, because I'm not meeting these people. They have no idea who I am. Not yet, at least. And so I'm still on that card, and I get to see their face as I'm signing the poster, and just to be a part of such an event and an experience, it definitely rubs off on you. You know what I mean? Not necessarily because it's a UFC fight and there's so many people watching, but you almost want to do good by the people that are fighting on that main card. You know what I mean? You're like, okay, see you, Nate. Like, let me, get my inner Nate and start calling people out. Yeah, like, I see you. And so I think it definitely pulls onto you. It definitely, some of it you get getting ready for your fight, and you just want to make sure that you can make a point in making that card just a little bit better, even though they're trying to see Nate Diaz or Volkanovski, because that's who I'm gonna watch as well. Like, that's what I'm excited about. I mean, my fight's pretty cool too, but
That's
that's the
awesome.
exciting part as well. Yeah.
That's awesome. You mentioned it kind of the energy pulling onto you. Your last fight week was probably the craziest fight week of the year. Did that affect you at all? And what was it like behind the scenes? Because as a fan, I never knew what to expect.
It was the same thing. I mean, I thought we were waiting, and I was like, okay, it's because there's gonna be a fight coming out. There's gonna be another fight, and it was cool. It was like, you get to experience it as a fan, because there were so many changes that happened at 279. But again, you had like a front row seat. I was total fangirl, of course. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, is Nate? There's Nate. Okay, he's not. No, they're separating it. You're like all in the drama, but you're not at all. You're like a fly on the wall. So that was a crazy card, absolutely crazy. And much respect to Kevin Holland for stepping up. He was on the bus with me on the way over there. He was fucking hilarious. So yeah, it was good. It was a good time for sure. Just witnessing it, and it was pretty cool.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. And then one last question, obviously, for me, we've been talking about you've been on big cards. It seems like the UFC is making an effort to get you out there on these big cards in front of fans. Is that something you noticed, and do you take pride in that?
I take pride that I put on a show to where they don't put me on a card that's dead. But I also know that Right now, I'm stealing people's hype, and that makes me even better. Like, that makes me even happier. So, the last fight was Melissa Martinez, 7-0. They did a lot of promotion about her, and it was, I think, want to say it was like Hispanic Heritage Month or something like that. So, and then Corey McKenna, they did a lot of stuff about her, and they had her on B&B or BT, whatever, the sports place. So, I think they know that I'll come to bang and put on a show, and I think they're testing me with really good talent and prospects. Um, I know right now that I'm stealing all their shit. Like, I'm stealing all the energy that they have, put it into them. Make Loma, make everybody seem great, and then I will sweep the rug out from underneath them. So whether they're hyping me up, I don't really know yet, but it's going to happen eventually. So
Let's go.
For
yeah.
sure. Let's go. And let's talk a little bit about this matchup we got with Loma. I mean, stylistically, she's, a standard, Muay Thai striker. She's very aggressive. She walks forward. What's
Yeah.
kind of the idea coming into this? Do you kind of see her, being that same, Loma that she usually is, or do you think that she might maybe mix it up with something?
I think someone that's been in that, she's a Muay Thai fighter. She's from Thailand. I think it's going to be very hard for her to change it up. I mean, that's what every fighter does, is try to change it up. But there's going to be things that are innate to me and are innate to her based on their experience. I think it's going to be timing. I think it's going to look like a Melissa Martinez versus me, except inverted. Um, I think I'm going to have to be a little bit lighter on my feet, a little bit more lateral movement, but I think it's going to be timing. If she can march forward and get her shots off and really hit hard like she wants to do, then I'm going to be in for a rough night. And if I can interrupt that, then it's going to be me all day long. I think we're both very good at what we do, to where it's going to be a fight for sure, but it's going to be a swing one way or the other.
Let's go. And it's
Yeah.
not gonna be no problem waking up early and fighting, huh?
Oh God, that's like the thing that I'm not excited about at all. I start at 4 p.m. My work day starts at 4 p.m. So I can wake up, I can enjoy my cup of coffee, 9 o'clock. Yeah. 4:30 shuttle is not gonna be the funnest. Um, but we're gonna do everything we can to adjust the time for the time difference. Just know that when you guys are watching at 6 p.m., it's 6 a.m. So just, give the fighters a little grace, because I'm sure they're gonna be waking up without the sun. I mean, I will be waking up without sun,
Oh
unfortunately.
yeah.
But
Oh yeah. Well, I'm sure you get a few punches in, it'll wake you up pretty quickly.
yeah, listen, I'll be drinking by 9, so it's good. It's
There
good.
we go. There we go. And then if I remember correctly, this fight was actually booked for what should have been the UFC Korea card this past weekend. Were you more excited to fight in Korea, or are you happy how things shook out and now you're going to be in Australia?
Would you want to be in Korea or Australia?
Probably Australia.
Australia, absolutely, absolutely. One, I get another extra week of fight camp, which is great. Made sure the injury was good to go, and then the second thing was it's like 30 degrees in Korea, and it's 88 in Australia. So yes, no. Even though I have to wake up early, I'd much rather wake up early and have a beach than not. So yeah, no, Australia for sure. I was stoked, absolutely stoked. Yeah.
Let's go. And it's
Yeah.
crazy because you're the only female fight on the whole card too. Do you know that?
Oh really? No, I didn't know that. That's gonna be good.
Yeah.
That's probably, we're gonna be a highlight for sure then.
Yeah.
Only
I
female
mean, I
fighter.
think there's what, like 15, there's 13 fights, and you're the only female fight on the whole darn thing. So you'll stick out.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, you get people
Good.
talking for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Listen, all female fight cards are great. Invicta, they do their thing. All male cards, okay. But there's something about the mix, because guys fight completely different than ladies, and it's weird. If you see all the same, it kind of bums it out. But yeah, that's cool. Let's go.
All right, cool. Yeah. Well, wait. Before we bounce out, we got to get predictions. We need with the main event and the co-main event. It's Volkanovski and Islam,
Islam.
obviously. Yeah, we'll start with that one.
I know. So I've said this before. I really like Volk. I really want him to come away with it.
Let's do it.
That is yeah, I'm always for the person, the underdog. double champ. I think if he does it, it's going to be one of the biggest upsets in years. Just with the hype that Makhachev, Islam has, especially against Oliveira. I mean, Oliveira was unstoppable, and he just made easy money with it. So, yeah, I'm going Volk. Do I think it's going to be Volk? Betting, no, but I'm going to go Volk. That's my choice.
We'll be cheering for him. And then co-main, Yair Emmett for the interim.
Yeah. I think Emmett's a sleeper a little bit. I think he's done really good things. Obviously in the last year, I think he's made huge strides to get to that spot, but I like Yair for it. I think
And then
Emmett's
one last prediction, arguably the biggest fight on the card, Elise Reed versus Loma Lookboonmee.
second round finish. I'm gonna give her some of her elbows back that she likes to put on people. I'm gonna give them back to her. So everybody, I was looking at, I shouldn't have, but I was looking at Reddit, and they were talking about me as being like a cardio kickboxer, which is the biggest insult you can give me. Because I hate that stuff. So I think I'm gonna show people how hard I really hit compared to somebody that hits hard as well. So yeah, second round.
There we go. You
can
heard
bet
it.
on that one.
You heard it.
Yeah, bet on
Let's
that
go.
one.
Lock it in. All right. Sounds good. Elise, thank you so much for your time. The Geeks are always appreciative. You want to give any shout outs or anything before we bounce out of here?
Yeah, so Kickside Martial Arts. We just opened a third location, really exciting. We put the signs up today. Carnicella MMA. I know, right? It's crazy. I'm just keep the jobs coming. Carnicella MMA, and that's it. My two spots.
Let's go. Well, don't miss her fight. It's February 11th. It's in Perth. I mean, for us, we'll just be going about it like a regular fight night. Turn on the TV at night. For others, they'll be, dusting off the morning breakfast and getting after it. So, best of luck, Elise. Thanks again for coming on.
No, thank you guys. Thank you for the time. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you. Thank you.
You as well.
All right. See ya.
See you later.